What's up, family? This is your boy Gerald. It is the evening of the 23rd of March, 2023. 2023. How is everybody doing? Well, first, you're halfway through your week, and I hope in a town near you, city, state, worldwide, you are well. So, I'm sitting in my garage right now, and in the background is YouTube copy-free music being played. This one is called Dawn by Sapa Heroes. But if you go into the the YouTube friendly library, they're there, and I've got it on random, so you're going to hear it in the background. Um, but nonetheless, I hope you're well. And as I always do, after finishing my workday, like many of you, you will start your day and end your day the same way, juggling through traffic while trying to multitask the thoughts that are in your mind, the things that may have had a pivotal placement waiting for its proper time to be digested analytically. And the one thing that happened to pop in my head as I was driving home today, the question was, why is it? Why is it in today's society there's such pushback in being happy? And I've said this numerous times since being on YouTube, and as I started to ponder that, it just made me realize that the price for not being happy is the trade-off is loss of time. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is when you're happy, you're at peace. There's no navigation required. You are in the know. You are in the now. You are just embracing you, the essence of what defines you, the environment. Everything's in sync. Now, I get it. For some, that may be a stretch. But I ask the listener to my voice right now, what is required? What is needed? What has to be sacrificed for you to finally know what your happiness feels like? Now, I know for some, they may think, oh, that's too deep. Where is this coming from? How did I get on this right now? And I can explain this very simple. It was meant for you to take in. Because if you're wagering every day, any moment of your day, and you find yourself at odds with yourself, second guessing what's to be done or where to go, that is a moment too much. And I say this because just look at your environment. Look at the people that have access to your life. Look at the people that are connected to you either by blood and bone or those by way of association through business. Do you know that those examples, number one, are reflections of what the outcome or the behaviors you exhibit, which is also found within inside that beautiful brain of yours? Think of it this way. Why is it in 2023, as the numerous advancements found in technology, shown in social constructs, you would think that society would be on the cutting edge of what's needed for our lives. Now, I get it. There's some that say, well, that is the case if you add the economic access. And I say to those who are hearing my voice, you'll come to learn that some of the greatest things that you'll have access to are free. What do I mean by that? Why is it in 2023 nearly 8 billion people on this planet and I'll say 35% are holding themselves hostage to a memory, to a decision, or a reactionary thought of choices made, and don't know how to release themselves from said captive. Now, I've been saying this for a long time. When you decide to love yourself, your clarity will come. But what I've also learned, that to have that requirement, you must first acknowledge what is being considered lack thereof to change it. But why? Why in 2023 there is so much emphasis on division than what is required to establish the dialogue for correction? Do you realize people don't even realize this? There is a void, a social void being sustained between the millennial generation and my generation, Generation Z, Generation X, that if until we decide to acknowledge what is needed compared of persecuting on what has gone on, it's going to hurt everybody on all sides. What do I mean, Gerald? See, from the millennial generation, they won't tell you this, but they look at the Generation X generation as failures. And I say that because what was required and what was needed and still is in demand is communication. Without communication, you cannot embark in understanding. But I'm a firm believer in this. Don't worry about what's found outside your window until you're willing to invest what's inside you. See, that is going to be the greatest task ever, because until you're willing to be transparent, to truly be transparent with yourself, with your dynamic of called your life, be overhauled, be changed. Did you realize that? See, how is it in today's society? There's so much energy convincing the impressionable that they are disenfranchised, they are unaware, they are unappreciated, and they have no value. But in actuality, that is a falsity by a small percentage, hoping that you will digest it so that you can instill that in the generations to come. Who am I talking to? See, society has taught you that as long as you had access to resource tangibly, it was all that you needed. But if that was the case, why is that emptiness so profound? Why is that void that you downplay it and call it as insecurity, only to turn around and try to medicate it through impulse, only to reap the same reward of being unfulfilled? Let that sink in. See, the one thing that I know to be true is this: you have one life, and that one life has a story, and it is up to you to dictate what is being instilled through memory, through cause and effect for those science heads, and what is cultivated. I'm saying this because there are a lot of people in 2023 that have given up on themselves. They have allowed AI to convince you that you are subpar. And I'm telling you, that is nothing but an illusion used as a tactic to keep you at bay. Now, it's no surprise that there are people that are waking up from choices that they made, choices that they have said, I can't carry this burden any longer. And they said, enough is enough. But even with those people that have gotten to that point, there's a small percentage of folks that are willing to, as I would always say, Take the road less traveled. That's from author Robert Frost. If you've never read the poem, I encourage you to do so. Because you'll come to see that when you decide to truly take notice, take inventory, take the emotional backpack that you've been carrying for so long off, to acknowledge what you have experienced, guess what will happen? Two things. One, you'll tap into your strength, but you'll also tap into your self-worth. There's been a lot of things that have been said to keep the populace distracted. One, that you can go through life without loving yourself. That's all a lie. See, I've been a strong proponent all my life. But it wasn't until 2012 when I started my YouTube channel and my journey. And I'm here to tell you, you still have a whole lot of life to live and a whole lot of people that will add the contrast to your story. But get this, you'll come to start to see, as you tap into yourself, why some of those disappointments took place, why some of those uncertainties had to happen. Not to say this to condone any misfortune, but to let you know, if anything, how unique your life is. I mean, if I can be more direct, it is going to be your actions that are going to influence the generations to come, because it'll be known as your legacy. Now, for some, that might be the furthest from your mind because you're in the now. But one day, out of nowhere, you'll look at, it'll come to you, and you'll start to want to assess all that you've seen, all that you've invested in, and all that have had access to you. And you're going to weigh it. You're going to weigh it emotionally. For some, you're going to smile. For others, it's going to piss you off. And then for some, you'll find understanding. All I'm trying to tell you is this. If your life has had the proverbial dark cloud, and you may be thinking, what's the point of it all? The greatest you is yet to be revealed. It cannot be revealed until you're having the ability to say, I need this. Not I want this. I need me. And you decide to take stock. Now, guess what? To do that, there's going to be some moments of uncertainty. There's going to be some moments that you're going to want to instinctively turn back. But what will really happen is there'll be that drive within you to say, no, just take that one foot and put it down. And place the other foot in front of you. Let's just go down this path just a little more. But see, what'll end up happening is what's truly, truly meant for you, you will start to have a comfort about the journey. And then in turn, things will slowly be revealed or placed into your life that will give you reassurance. Now, there is a trade off. And a lot of people don't talk about this because they probably don't understand. See, as you're being guided from the things that were only wants, the things that were only temporary, the trade off is a lot of that, you won't have access to it anymore. The people that were only there just for a temporary moment in your life, they'll be the first ones to notice that you're starting to grow. And guess what? A lot of them won't be pleased. A lot of them will start to show who they really are. And they may even speak in terms that will be unsettling, but that is nothing but projection. Because what's in store for you, what's on that journey, will give you reassurance, give you understanding, and will give you the peace you've always wanted. You know what else you'll find? You'll find your smile. You should not be going through life and you feel uncomfortable of holding your natural smile. You realize how many people that lost their smile because of disappointment, because of actions or words that were spoken to them or spoken over their life, and indirectly you digested it and you started to believe it, and then in turn all it did was erode what you know is hope from your being, because you started to believe what was being offered, not what was given, what was needed. Because you'll come to understand this. See, the people that generally love you, you won't second guess that, because they will be the example of what they speak. They won't be the rock in your stream. They won't stand in your way. They'll support you. They will be the voice of reason when you need it. Because at the end of the day, they want you to win. You know why? Because they identified that from the first hello. They knew. See, one of the greatest illusions out there in society is opposites attract. But the truth of the matter is, far from it. The truth of the matter is, you attract what you are. So, you want happiness in your life? You want to be easy? You want to know what freedom feels like? You want to know what love is? It is all found in you. It is all in you. And this might piss somebody off, but let me tell you something. You might not realize this, but you were made perfect the moment that you took your first breath. But society won't tell you that, because if society told you the truth, they wouldn't have goods and services. They couldn't tell you that. That is why more commerce is made in fear-based mentality than it is when you have clarity. So all I'm saying to you is this: stop looking for love. You look within yourself. And then if the work is done, truly done, you will understand what temperance is. You will know what comfort feels like, because comfort, emotional comfort, is related to peace of mind. And when you have peace of mind, you are truly free. No more sleepless nights. No more second guessing. No more unwanted and undesired attempts or triggers. And yes, that phone will stop ringing. That fear will not have access to you. You won't have to worry about looking over your shoulder. You won't have to worry about what you did and who you was with. Why? Because you'll have peace of mind and you'll be free. So, I ain't want to be on a tangent. I'm just saying, unfortunately, these next 20 years, there are going to be a lot of people that are going to be looking back at their lives, and they're going to be truly, truly heartbroken at the decisions and choices they made, and the time and investments that they made that did not come into fruition. Get back to yourself. But it can't happen until you acknowledge where you are. If you have doubts, if you have fear, if you are downright afraid of whatever it is, first, acknowledge it. The more you acknowledge it, the less the power it has over your life. I hope that one day in my lifeline that I'm able to see the world finally somewhat in harmony, in peace. But that cannot and will not happen until you're willing to have the conversation with yourself first. Now, I know somebody's going to say, well, that means you're crazy. No. No. Because I can turn around and tell you the same thing. There's no money in cures. Now imagine if you invest in yourself and change the needed behaviors that are required. Now, how can you change the needed behaviors that are required until you acknowledge what needs to be changed? How can you truly demand for yourself to change said behaviors if you're unwilling to acknowledge that they exist? You know, I always used to say this, and I'm going to leave it alone. Just as there was the word, after the word, there was a thought. And after that thought became a pattern, or you may know as a behavior. These all fall concurrently to ultimately build what? A result or an outcome. Let your outcome be your freedom. There's no there's no badge of honor for carrying shackles of pain, denial, delusion. Mm-mm. But I'm gonna leave it where it stands because for those who are ready to change your life, truly change your life, you can understand what I'm saying. Don't don't think it can be done because of financial means or who you align yourself with. That doesn't work. It doesn't. All the work that is required to be done is found within yourself. So the question is, how bad do you need it? Or better yet, why don't you think you're worth it? Because I'm here to tell you, I think you do. Stay blessed.